Tennessee's At Home Learning Series for Math. Today's lesson is for 3rd grade out there, though all children are welcome to tune in. This lesson is number 8 in a series. My name is Lisa Sharkley and I'm a 3rd grade teacher at Venus Stewart Elementary in Gallatin, Tennessee. I'm excited to be your teacher for this lesson. Welcome to my virtual classroom. If you didn't see the previous lesson, you can find it on Tennessee Department of Education's website at www.tn.gov/education. You can still tune in to today's lesson even if you hadn't seen any of the others. But it might be more fun if you go back and watch our other lessons since I'll be talking about them. Today we'll be learning about writing whole numbers as fractions. Before we get started, you will need a sheet of paper and a pencil. All right, let's begin. I'm going to start off with vocabulary. Lesson 8, write whole numbers as fraction. And I have some key vocabulary words for this lesson. Cut, the action taken to divide or separate into fractional pieces. A tick mark, the lines drawn on a number line to show the point location. Denominator, which is that down number on a fraction. Denominator, the number of equal parts in a whole. Numerator, the number of equal parts that are being described. And the last vocabulary word, whole number. Numbers that haven't been broken into smaller parts. And we might come back to this slide as we're working to review these words. First, let's review using a number line as a fractional model. Look at my number line. On the top of the number line, we see whole numbers labeled over their tick marks. What fraction should we write in the blanks below all the tick marks? As I look at this, I notice my number line is cut into thirds. I noticed that because I looked from the 0 to the 1. And I counted 1, 2, 3. There's 3 equal pieces on the number line between the 0 and the 1. So I know my number line is going to be thirds. So we're able to label our number line now. 0 third, 1 third, 2 third, 3 third, 4 third, 5 third, 6 third. I was able to label my number line. I'm noticing some equivalent fractions. This is at the same spot on my number line from the 0. Also, I see another one. Same spot on my number line. Let's go ahead and circle those. We learned this in our previous lesson. 1 is equal to 3 thirds. And also 2 whole would be equal to 6 thirds. That's a review from our last lesson. You've already learned to read and to draw fraction models. Now let's use fraction models to solve a story problem. I'll read the problem to you. Feel free to read along with me. Read it out loud. Carson uses 2 boards of the same size to build a birdhouse. He cuts each board into 4s. How can you write the number 2 as a fraction to find how many 4s Carson cuts the board into? So, I'm hearing the board. When I hear boards, I think of a rectangle. And how many boards does he have? And I hope you're saying 2. Board 1, board 2. And like I said before, Miss Sharkley's not an artist. I'm trying my best with my drawings. He cuts each board into fours. So I need to cut each board into fours. I'm going to make it into a half and then make my half into a half. 4 equal pieces. I need to do the same with the second board. Cut it into half and my half into a half. So I have 2 boards cut into fours. Let's see what the question's asking me. How can you write the number 2, I have 2 holes, as a fraction to find out how many fours Carson cuts the board into? So the problem told me my denominator, it's going to be 4. Because in my 1 hole, there's 4 equal pieces. That's why my denominator is 4. To find my numerator, I have to count all the equal pieces in both holes. Both of them. So let's count that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2 whole is equivalent to 8 fours. So to answer this question, how many fours will he use? My answer would be 8. He would use 8 fours. Let's keep going. You could also use a number line to solve this problem about the boards. Since we have 2 boards, we will need our number line to go from 0 to 2. We also need to cut the number line into fours to represent the 2 boards in the story. So it said I need to cut it into fours. Let's see. I'll start this one with 0 and let's cut it into fours. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be 1 whole board. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I have 2 whole boards. I'm going to use the denominator of what? 4, you're right. And I'll label the top line. So 0 fourth, 1 fourth, 2 fourth, 3 fourth, 4 fourth, 5 fourth, and I hope you're saying this with me, 6 fourth, 7 fourth, 8 fourth. Are you noticing any equivalent fractions? Any fractions the same distance to the 0 on our number line? I am too. I'm circling. It shows me that 4 fourths is equal to 1 whole, and also that 8 fourths is equal to 2 whole. I found 2 equivalent fractions with whole numbers. Now, let's connect our learning from the birdhouse problem to help us understand how to write whole numbers as a fraction. Here are the fraction models we drew for the problem. How many equal parts are shown in 1 whole? So I'm going over here. This is my 1 whole. How many equal parts? And I hope you said 4. I'll put my answer here, 4. How many equal parts are shown in 2 holes? That means this hole and this hole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 equal parts. And there's a number line that we made earlier that shows the exact same thing. How these are equivalent. Equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions. Using a number line can help me find equivalent fractions easily. Let's answer one more question. How can we record that 2 wholes equal 8 fourths? How do we write that? And we would write it just like that. 2 wholes equal 8 over a 4. That says the exact same thing. I want you to notice the denominator 4 is the number of equal parts in one whole, and the numerator 8 is the number of equal parts in all of the two wholes together. This process we use for writing a whole number as a fraction is the same as we use for writing other fractions. Did you make that connection? If so, give yourself a thumb up. All right, let's keep going. Let's apply our learning from today to solve 2 more problems that involve writing whole numbers as fractions. First, look at this fraction model to write a fraction equivalent to the whole number 3. I'll give you a minute to think. So again, I'm wanting you to write a fraction equivalent to the whole number 3. Now I have a clue at the very bottom. It says clue. The denominator is the number of equal parts in one whole. The numerator is the number of equal parts in all the wholes together. So I'll give you 15 seconds to write your fraction. All right, let's see. Let's see if you wrote the same as me. So as I look at this, I'm looking at my first whole. This is going to help me write my denominator. It's divided into halves. So I know my denominator is going to be 2. To find the numerator, I have to count all the equal pieces in all of the wholes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I hope you answered 6 halves. If so, pat yourself on the back. You deserve it. Let's try one more, but this time we have a number line as our fraction model. We like number lines. Asia has 2 ribbons that are the same length. She cuts each one into 8ths. Use the number line to help you write the number 2 as a fraction to show how many 8ths she cut the ribbon into. Well, I'm going to give you a whole minute because you're going to have to draw your number line and you're going to write what the number 2 is using a fraction. I'm going to give you a whole minute to work on this one. Go ahead and work on it. All right, let's check it together. I know that 8ths is going to be the denominator. Let me make sure our number line is cut into 8ths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do you see I counted the tick marks between the 0 and the 1? that tells me what my denominator will be. So I know it's going to be 8. To find my numerator, I have to count all of it, all the way to the 2 whole. So let's try that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There were 16 tick marks from the 0 to the 2 whole. So that let me know my numerator would be 16. 2 whole is equal to 16 eighths. Now let's practice. I'll do the first practice problem. Miss Adams cuts 2 same size pieces of colored paper into 6 to make strips for paper chains. How many strips does she make? All right, let me read it one more time. Mrs. Adams cuts 2 same size pieces of colored paper into 6 to make strips for paper chains. How many strips does she make? Well, we have a model here. It's going to really help me decide how many strips that she needs. It's giving me my denominator. What would be my denominator? And I hope you're saying 6. 6 is cut into 6. But to find the numerator, I have to count all of the strips. So let me put my 6 as my denominator, my down number underneath the fraction bar. Let's find that numerator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 sixths. But the question says, how many strips does she make? And I hope you're saying that would be that top number, 12. She makes 12 strips using the 1/6 pieces of paper. And let's put an equivalent fraction to the whole number. I could say 1 whole, 2 whole. 2 wholes is equal to 12 sixths. Now let's do another problem together. Before we fill in the boxes, let's make sense of the problem. How many holes do you see in the fraction model? How are the models cut? So let's look at that first question. How many holes do you see in the fraction model? So 1 hole, 2 holes, 3 holes. I have a total of 3 holes. How are the models cut? What are they cut into? And yes, out loud, I bet you were saying into thirds. They are cut into thirds. So now, knowing that, let's see if we can fill in the information. So it says 1 whole equals blank thirds. Well, this 1 whole, how many thirds do we have? And I agree, 3. Take a minute, or I'll say 15 seconds, and fill in these 2 boxes. 15 seconds, please. Okay, I'm back. Let's see. Now we put 1 whole is equal to 3 thirds. Let's see 2 holes. 1 hole, 2 hole. I need to count both of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 holes is equal to 6 thirds. Now this one wants to know all 3 holes are equal to how many thirds? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good job for finding 6 thirds and 9 thirds. Now let's practice using a number line to help us write fractions for whole numbers. Here's our number line. Again, let's answer the question at the bottom. How are the wholes cut? So I would look at my number line from the 0 to the 1. How is it cut? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is cut into fours. 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 That means what are the equal parts? It is 4. So, 1 whole equals how many fours? I think I can just find that equivalent fraction by looking. 1 whole is equivalent to 4 fours. What about the 2 whole? Oh, we have to finish filling in this number line. They left some of the numbers out. So let's see. 0 fourth, 1 fourth, 2 fourth, 3 fourth, 4 fourth, 5 fourth. What would be next? I bet you're saying 6 fourth, 7 fourth, 8 fourth. Now I found another equivalent fraction to a whole number. 2 is equivalent to 8 fourths. Our last problem of the day together. Use the fraction models to write an equivalent fraction for the wholes. All right. Decide how many wholes do you have. 1, oops, let's use my pointer. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know I have 4 wholes, but I want it as a fraction. So then I would think, how is 1 whole divided? What is it split or cut into? And I could say it's cut into halves, 2 equal pieces. That would be my denominator. To find my numerator, I would count all of my pieces. That's going to give me all my equal pieces. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 is equal to 8 halves. Great work, students, today. Today we reviewed writing whole numbers as fractions. You sure did a great job. I will show you the independent practice problems now, or you can find them in the student practice for this lesson posted on the website. I enjoyed working math with you today. Thank you for inviting me into your home. I look forward to seeing you in our next lesson at Tennessee's At Home Learning Series for Math. Bye-bye.
Hello, my most amazing artist. My name is Cassie Stevens, and we are going to be creating together today. If you enjoy creating as much as I do, then you can find more videos just like this one on my YouTube channel. I'm easy to find. You can just search me by my name, Cassie Stevens. Today, we are going to be creating a pop-up high five. Whoop. I bet you know somebody that you would love to give a high five to. So to create this, you'll just need some paper, scissors, glue, and a piece of cardboard that's about 12 inches long. Let's get started. To create your pop-up hand, you'll need 2 pieces of construction paper. Start with one that you want to use as the sleeve. Holding it horizontally, fold it from the left to the right as if you're making a card. Now you can decorate the front of it like the sleeve of a shirt. You could use markers, crayons, whatever you like. Go ahead and open it up. Then using glue, glue stick, or even a little bit of tape, put it down the side of the card so that the top and bottom are open. With your new piece of paper, fold that in half and trace your hand. You want to make sure that your hand is only as wide as that folded piece of paper so that it will go in and out of the sleeve of the shirt. When you're done tracing, you don't need to cut both sides of the paper, so you can open it up, trim the other half off, and maybe save it for another art project. When you're cutting something like this that has a lot of different curves and lines, it really helps to have your other hand, the one that's not holding the scissors, do most of the work. Notice how my left hand is doing a lot of work of rotating, that means turn, the paper. My scissor hand only ever stays pointed out. Oh, look, a positive and a negative shape of my hand. Using the positive shape, go ahead and write a message in the palm or the center of the hand. Maybe it's high five, or maybe you just want to decorate the hand. The beauty of making art is there's no right or wrong answer. There's only your answer. So whatever you can imagine, that's what you can create. When you're finished decorating the palm of your hand, then we're ready to assemble. You'll need a strip of cardboard about 12 inches in length. If you don't have that, a ruler would work, as well as maybe even a pencil. When you're creating, it's important to use what you've got. I'm going to go ahead and flip that over. Notice that when I put glue on there, I place it so that it goes all the way up to the bottom of the fingers. There, now it's attached. To assemble, I'm just going to slide it into the sleeve of the shirt and ta-da, high five. If you want to take it a step further, why not write a special message to somebody who you'd like to give a high five to? You could write it on the sleeve of the shirt, maybe mom or dad or somebody else in your family that you would like to give a high five to. I hope you had fun creating. I'm excited to see what your high five pop-up ends up looking like. Thanks for joining me.